From KUNC and the NPR network, this is In The NoCo. I'm Erin O'Toole. When I was a kid in school, some of the best moments I remember happened on stage. I remember doing a school play in 4th grade. The teacher told us the most important thing for a stage actor was for the audience to hear you. I'm pretty sure I shouted every line on opening night. And I loved it, though maybe the front row didn't. I kept up with theater in junior high and high school. Nowadays, unfortunately, a lot of students in Colorado schools won't have much of a chance to act on stage or play an instrument or hone their craft at painting. Arts programs in most public schools have been cut severely due to tight budgets, but also to make room for classes that help schools get higher scores on standardized tests. So a team of KUNC reporters wondered, what does this look like in Colorado schools? And where are kids learning about the arts, if they're learning about them at all? Our colleagues at KUNC News found some bright spots and some moving stories. So today, we're sharing those stories with you in 3 chapters. First up, reporter Rachel Cohen heads to Brighton, where a music teacher spent the past few years working to build a band program with limited resources. Here's Rachel.
The band classroom at VCON Middle School is chaos. Dozens of students in a semicircle play their trumpets, horns, and drums over each other. With baton in hand, band director Aaron Carnahan calls the class to order.
Everybody say shh.
Today, these 8th graders are rehearsing for their final concert as middle schoolers.
Short staccatos, y'all. Short staccatos. It's a 1, 2, red.
When Carnahan first came to VCON 3 years ago, there was an intro to music class, but no band. He immediately began working to change that. He handed students instruments the school had laying around.
At first, we had to do a lot of sacrificing of convenience, things like sharing instruments and sanitizing in between.
He sourced secondhand woodwinds and brass, then went classroom to classroom, recruiting kids to join. Now, almost half of the school's students are in band. That's a big deal because VCON is a Title I school, meaning it serves many students from low-income families. Most can't pay fees for instrument rentals, so Carnahan has had to piece things together through donations. Daisy Fodness-McGowan says arts programs like this aren't a given. She directs Think 360 Arts for Learning, a nonprofit in Denver.
It's really not fair that some children have access to the arts in their K through 12 years, and some do not, and some have absolutely no access.
Arts education has changed over time. A 2011 report from the National Endowment for the Arts suggested arts classes had been declining since the 1980s. Colorado lacks data on arts education, but according to a new report from Fodness-McGowan's organization, the number of licensed arts teachers in Colorado has dropped, especially in rural areas.
It all comes down to money, and it's going to be district by district, and even largely school by school to decide where that funding goes.
But across the state, passionate teachers like Carnahan are keeping classes like dance, theater, and music strong.
Aww. We'll clean that up.
He says his goal has been to make band at VCON invaluable. Part of that is getting students to like and trust him.
I always try to make as many jokes as possible, just let them know that even on the stressful days, we'll have at least a little bit of fun.
His class could be the reason some kids come to school.
Because they're like, well, I don't want to miss band. We're running this song today, and I really don't want to miss that.
Research supports the idea that arts education pays dividends, leading to higher attendance and better grades.
Faster here, yeah, very nice.
Band is the best part of the day for Braden Williams.
I always love being able to play that first note of the day.
Williams, in a cowboy hat and boots, picked up the alto sax as a 6th grader. Now in 8th grade, he composes his own songs. He says it helps him with another one of his passions, Taekwondo.
Making our own choreography, learn how to be on beat and on time with everything.
Tiffany Escobar Apodaca joined later, midway through last year. She says students help each other through tough sections.
We can get something wrong and nobody will shame us for it really at all.
At the end of the school year, parents fill up the gymnasium for the spring concert.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for coming.
Carnahan says it's a special one because these 8th graders were his first group of band students here, and now they're moving on to high school.
It's always the bittersweet feeling of sending them on to live the rest of their life and still being proud of all the work that they've done.
But he has a lot to look forward to. This upcoming school year, he'll launch a brand new string orchestra. Donated violins and cellos will arrive over the summer, ready to make music in new hands. For KUNC, I'm Rachel Cohen.
I mentioned at the top of the show that part of the reason there's limited money for arts education is because school districts often choose to fund classes that train students for a more traditional career. So for the second chapter of today's episode, KUNC reporter Emma VandenEinde headed to Loveland. She hung out with a theater teacher who believes theater can absolutely help someone prepare for a career and is finding the funding to do just that. Here's Emma.
Mountain View High School's baseball team isn't the only group preparing for the game this afternoon.
I don't know if we're going to be ready for first pitch, but we'll see. Better late than never, right?
JD Jacob is a teacher at the Loveland School. Today, he's helping his students unpack cameras and pilot one of their first ever sports broadcasts. Some students are in the stands, keeping track of runs and outs. Others, like freshman Levi Freitag, are on camera doing play-by-play.
And today is a great day to do some baseball, don't you think so?
This is all new for Jacob. His main job is teaching theater, not sports broadcasting.
I'm an amateur too. I learned how to do this on YouTube about 6 months ago.
He's launching this brand new course in order to qualify for career and technical education dollars from the state and federal government. CTE generally supports education for careers like business or engineering. Here at Mountain View, Jacob wants to use CTE to prep his students for careers in technical theater, so they learn skills like set design and sound mixing. Sports broadcasting would be a part of that.
I jumped at the chance to connect my students to extra funds to get them extra opportunity, because that's really what it's all about.
Mountain View is an arts-focused school, but like many districts, budgets are tight. Jacob has to actively recruit kids with busy schedules and build this curriculum from the ground up.
So the fact that Colorado is saying we value theatrical design and technology as a pathway of career is a really good thing.
Access to arts education varies across the state. Some students have less instruction per week. Some districts have cut teaching hours. Others have cut programs altogether.
The days of a comprehensive high school having 4 or 5 art teachers, that's an antiquated existence.
Andy Stevens is the director of career and college readiness for the Thompson School District, which Mountain View is a part of. CTE dollars must be used to train students for well-paying, in-demand jobs in Colorado. Stevens says fine arts are not always seen this way.
The state of Colorado views those as hobbies, not careers. Most people are not going to make a living performing. They're going to make a living as a sound engineer.
While CTE funds have been available for decades, its use for arts-related careers is growing. Currently, there's more than 160 arts-related CTE programs in high schools across the state. Around 24,000 students take classes like communications, web design, and tech theater.
Okay, do you want to hear Blue?
Yeah.
It's the end of the school year. JD Jacob is testing microphones at Mountain View's auditorium, setting up for his drama awards night.
Check. Yeah, I'm talking into the blue mic.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Senior Kaisa Aresto is helping. She's co-directed some of the school's productions and plans to study theater design in college. But she's bummed that this CTE program wasn't available to her in high school.
I think if I had the opportunity to know a little bit more about every single area and have some of those certifications as I was leaving, I might be more inclined to maybe wait on the 4-year education and instead just start working.
She believes Jacob's future technical classes will set students up well, no matter if they choose theater or not.
Actors without technicians are just people who can sing and dance and act and stuff. But technicians, if they're no theater, they're just people with a lot of marketable skills. There's so many more opportunities than you think there are.
Jacob will soon apply for state approval of his full CTE program. When his sports broadcasting class launches in the fall, his students will be covering football and girls volleyball. Emma VandenEinde, KUNC.
As arts education becomes more limited in some schools, some students learn about the arts from a different source. Arts programs for wellness are launching around the country. In our third and final chapter today, reporter Leigh Paterson heads to Steamboat Springs. Leigh checked out some free art classes there that expose kids to art as an antidote to stress or isolation. Here's Leigh.
11-year-old Sam has a guitar that is small and bright blue.
All right, it's coming along nicely. Do you remember?
She got the instrument for her birthday. When she plays it,
I feel happy.
Why?
Because the music is calm.
Sam sits facing her teacher Adam Petty in a practice room in Steamboat Springs.
3rd fret, 1st fret.
They move on from chords to the classics.
Twinkle, twinkle, little star.
This is social prescribing, a non-medical approach to well-being that connects people to local activities, from nature walks to guitar lessons.
So that part, we'll play the same thing.
In Sam's case, her dad Mike says they saw a flyer in her pediatrician's office for a program called Prescription for the Arts.
And so we went on and called them and told them about Sam.
She had been introduced to the guitar at school and really wanted to learn. Plus, Sam has some learning differences.
What this is doing is kind of tapping into the other side of her brain, the creative side, and giving her, a focus.
Everywhere a buck.
Colleges, hospitals, and arts organizations are putting resources into social prescribing, hoping to improve well-being for all sorts of people, from veterans to seniors. In Steamboat Springs, the Prescription for the Arts initiative aims to address youth mental health by connecting kids with art. The original idea started with local clinicians and pediatricians asking this kind of question.
Would you be interested in using arts as a way to cope with how you're feeling right now instead of or in addition to a pill?
Then they would get a prescription for an art experience, explains Danny McKinley. She's the head of Undiscovered Earth, the nonprofit that launched Prescription for the Arts in October. For now, classes are paid for through donations. A mental health clinician or counselor is usually involved.
So that there is some check-in on the progress. Is this helping? Is this not helping? And we're able to measure those results.
A growing body of research suggests there are benefits of social prescribing. At the University of Colorado Anschutz, Dr. Mark Moss has been studying its impacts on healthcare providers.
It's amazing how positive the data is.
Hundreds have taken the 12-week arts course that's meant to be therapeutic. Moss cautions that arts prescribing should not be a standalone treatment for serious mental illness, but for healthcare providers who are struggling with anxiety, depression, and PTSD.
The symptoms improve by 25 to 35%.
Hi, Lee. How are you? Nice to meet you.
This past school year, Carly Gilliland led music experiences at an alternative high school in Steamboat Springs as part of Prescription for the Arts.
I am a board-certified music therapist.
During a songwriting class, she asked how students were feeling that day.
And one of the students was tired. I'm like, yeah, me too. Me too. Let's write. Let's think more about that. Why are you tired? How does it feel? How did your day start?
Those words became the basis for a song. Gilliland guided her students through the songwriting process, from melody to lyrics to production.
But it starts something like, 7:55 in the morning, I got a cat on my face. That's how it starts.
The goal of social prescribing, she explained, isn't about the quality of the art, but the experience of making it. Leigh Paterson, KUNC.
To read and listen to all of the stories in this series, visit kunc.org/gettingcreative. That's it today for this special edition of In the NoCo. I'm Erin O'Toole. Thanks for listening.